so welcome everyone to the Two Roads Marketing Affinity call, in-room marketing and experiential room amenities. All right, so today's agenda, marketing team updates, the Marketing Affinity team announcements from Molly. We'll go through destination brand partnerships update through, sorry if everyone can mute their phones. All right, so we have the destination brand partnerships with Carrie, destination discovery kids, and the monthly in-room topic, which is in-room amenities and a Q&A open discussion. Just a reminder, the Marketing Affinity team, always accepting more people to join us. It's a great way to stay involved and get the agenda. We work on the agenda, toolkits, and really just here to serve you. So if you ever have any questions or need anything, all of our resource. So Molly Johnson with Sun River, Nicole Martin with Manor Vale, Kirsten Glenn with the Destination Snowmass, myself, Ivy Parker, Hotel Talisa, Natalie Edwards, Chicago Athletic Association, and then we have Katie and Maureen serving the West and East Coast.
Hey Sarah, this is Jeff. I noticed no Thompson property employee on there, so on my next call with them, I will prompt somebody to hopefully join this team from the Thompson brand.
We love that. Important. It is important. We love diversity.
All right.
One of our goals as well. So the Marketing Affinity team announcements, I'll let Molly take it away.
Thank you, Sarah. So just a few announcements from the Marketing Affinity team. As you're all aware, we currently have 3 toolkits online that you can access. So the Hotel Marketing Toolkit, the Leisure Toolkit, and the Group Toolkit. The Marketing Affinity team is developing 4 new toolkits. We have a Corporate Toolkit, Residences, Food and Beverage, and Social and Weddings that we'll be rolling out sometime this month. So stay tuned for that. We'll send out the details when those are live and ready to be reviewed. And we'll include a link to the existing toolkits in the follow-up notes for this call. Let's see, and then we are also going to be doing the Financial Acumen series again this year that we did last year. So that'll be accurate forecasting in Dash, and then also a review of the 2018 budget assumptions. And then finally, we will be doing 2 more things. We're going to do a one-off call on marketing legalities of photography and video. We've had a lot of discussion about that internally within the Marketing Affinity team recently about model releases, crowd releases, model payment, that type of thing. So we're doing a little bit more homework on that now, and we're going to work with the corporate office on anything that exists in terms of best practices there. And then we'll send out an announcement for a one-off call on that. And then last topic is we're going to be rolling out a mentorship program, and that's to onboard new marketing managers or marketing directors. And the general idea is that the people who are being mentored would be with the company for less than a year. And then the mentors would be people that are with Two Roads for over 2 years and can mentor new people that are coming on board. Some of the things that we would talk about between the mentor and the mentee would be onboarding, skills development, culture training, goal setting, career planning, networking, problem solving, that type of thing. So if you're interested in either aspect of that, you can reach out to me, and my contact information will be on the follow-up email, and more to come on that. But so those are the announcements from the Marketing Affinity team. And then you can see also the upcoming calls. Our July call will be July 6th. That's going to be hosted by Nicole, and it will be on food and beverage marketing. And we'll also roll out the food and beverage toolkit on that call as well. Back to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Molly. The photography and video legalities is so important too, especially now. I know this conversation came up with now working with influencers instead of modeling agencies. So what are the guidelines around working with them and kind of protecting the brand and the mentorship? That's a great idea as well, because always want to make sure everyone feels guided through their onboarding experience with Two Roads. So thank you. All right, and the next, we're going too far. I'm going to give the controls over to Carrie. Carrie, you on?
Hi, I'm here. Sorry, we're on mute.
You're fine. I'm going to make you the presenter.
Great. Okay, can everyone see the slide on partnerships?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Carrie Drost. I'm Director of PR in the home office. This update is specifically for destination hotels, brand partnerships. This is really our year of family travel. We really are, we want to own this space. We feel like it's something that we do exceptionally well. So that's where this first partnership idea came about. We've been working on it for several months, actually. So we're thrilled to finally announce it this month and hopefully roll it out. Baby Ears, just to give everyone a little bit of background, it's a baby rental gear company and marketplace. So similar to the Uber business model in that they have several trusted partners across the country that actually have the gear. So, and it's all very high-end, well-vetted, clean baby materials. Everything as large as cribs and strollers, car seats, to smaller items like books and toys. And it really exists to alleviate some of the anxieties and stress when you're traveling with children. So, so they're our trusted partners in the majority of destination markets, and that's one of the reasons we identified them as a partner we wanted to pursue. And also, based on the conversations we've been having with them, we're able to secure a special discount for all destination hotels guests to use this service. And on top of that, we've negotiated a 20% net revenue share for all properties that use Baby Ears as their preferred vendor. And there's no cost to participate, which I know we love. No hard cost. And from the home office perspective, we're going to amplify this partnership through PR efforts, through social media, through newsletter and email campaign marketing. And we're really, really excited to be partnering with Baby Ears. It was created by the founders of Match.com, so very entrepreneurial. They've been lovely to work with. So as far as the actual rollout, we're hoping that Resort at Squaw Creek and Terranea will be our pilot properties. If you're interested in being one of our pilots, please let me know. The Baby Ears team is willing to travel anywhere, essentially, and meet with operations leaders and make sure that everyone feels really comfortable with this program. But the way it'll work is we will have a special landing page that's hosted on the Baby Ears website. So it'll be babyears.com/destination-hotels, and that's where the guest will book. So we will have that at some point within our reservation confirmation or pre-arrival emails. We're still working through that piece with Nancy. We'll have a link to the partnership on the destination website. Like I said, we'll be amplifying it through PR. We'll distribute a press release on the wire. We'll incorporate it into our media relations efforts and some of our visiting journalist program opportunities. So we say June as a rollout, but it'll really be something that we're focused on for the rest of the year. Any questions about Baby Ears? I'm actually going to be sending out a toolkit as well with more information. I just wanted to use this call as an opportunity to introduce everyone to the brand and really express the why behind why we chose Baby Ears, and then future plans for rollout.
Carrie, this is Kirsten from SOMAS. I have a question.
Sure.
How is this going to be rolled out operationally, and how does it work with the properties that already own some of these assets like pack and plays and rollaway cribs and access, and we charge our guests for them. We just get rid of those? Is that a second option?
No. Yeah, I mean, absolutely use what you have, especially if you do have an arsenal of some of these products. This is really more the value add to the guest experience. So, I mean, I would imagine for residences like in Snowmass, you probably have multiple families with young children traveling at one time. So this could be another option for your concierge to provide. So if someone's asking, or products that you don't have. So if you have one pack and play, but someone's asking for a high chair and a car seat and this, that, and the other. So this is just a nice way to offer that to them. And then for each baby heirs, or for each guest that books with baby heirs, then DR Snowmass and each property would get 20% of net revenue share for each transaction. So if you're also using, I know some of our properties are using Babies Away, which is one of their competitors, but in this case, if you're using Babies Away, you wouldn't get that. You wouldn't get the revenue share, nor would the guest get a special 10% discount. So that's really exclusive to Destination. And we are their first and only hotel brand partner. They've worked with a ton of hotels and vacation rentals. In fact, I believe they're working with HomeAway. But we see this as a real opportunity, especially for our residences, but also for our family-oriented hotels and resorts. Did that answer your question? So no, don't get rid of your products if you have them.
Right. No, that answers my question. It was just the first part was, will your toolkit include information that we can give to our operations people, because once they book and the stuff has to get delivered and put in the rooms, and is there a protocol for all of that, or do we develop it?
No, we've developed all of that with our baby heirs partners. So it breaks it down by how to place the baby gear rental order, delivery and pickup logistics. Once a reservation is complete, here's how to handle delivery, here's how to handle pickup, etc. So we've laid it out it's pretty detailed. So I'll be sending that as part of the toolkit, so we can share that with operations leaders. And as far as creative and collateral, Baby Heirs has volunteered to do that for us as well. And that will be specific to each property, which is really nice. So they'll include specific directions for that market. So it'll say, DR Snowmass, Terranea, Wild Dunes, whatever it is, and then it'll have information on that trusted partner locally with their specific link to book. And then they'll be providing, I think, Marie, we had negotiated just PDFs, right, because that'd be easier, and then we can print it on our own. Mm-hmm. But that can be for the concierge to keep on their desk, and then however else you want to market it. They're really open to working with us. So, and they'll provide their logo. I mean, they're just very eager and excited to have an entire hotel collection as an exclusive partner.
I think two pluses are we want to minimize the operational impact on the hotels. So their local vendors are really charged to set that up in the room, obviously with your oversight, but minimize operational impact, minimize the cost of storing a lot of the items that they have on hand, which are often new. And they also have an insurance policy, so if it's defective, it doesn't affect the property at all. So sometimes we've got to keep the right equipment updated from an insurance standpoint, and when we're dealing with children. So that is kind of risky. So we're kind of removed from that. And then the other opportunity is the revenue share, because the hotel is making money off each order.
Can I ask
Marie? Sure. Let me just really quickly want to piggyback off what Marie was just saying. So as far as, once a guest books, they would book on the babyheirs.com website. They would select all the items that they need. They would get the 10% off because they have that special link from Destination Hotels. And then as far as setup and delivery, the trusted partner locally, so whether it's in Charleston, Seattle, wherever, would call. They would have the phone number and contact information for the guest that books. And they would say, you know, they would get very explicit directions. So, you know, I'm arriving Terranea at this time, set up, you know, exactly which days they'll need it. They'll give you a delivery window. They're very, very flexible. So, and this is all outlined in the toolkit, but that's why I suggested earlier, if other properties besides Resort of Squaw Creek and Terranea want to participate in our pilot program just to see how it works, please let me know. And again, no cost associated with that, but just so you as well as your operations teams can feel a little more comfortable with the procedure.
Real quick, so there's a minimum length of time that you have to request this by, right? So they don't do, like, let's say someone gets in the room and they're like, oh shoot, I forgot this and we're out. You know, they can't get it within an hour, right?
That's a good question, Katie. I know that they do have a trusted partner right in Cleellum, so who knows? That's yeah. So I can ask our partners what exactly is the booking window.
Same day.
Yeah.
Ask if they have same day services.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Even if there's like even if there's a, you know, some sort of fee. I mean, I'd imagine if you don't have that car seat or whatever you need, I mean, they pay for it. Okay, let me ask. Any other questions on baby ears? And actually what I'm also going to do is include a list of the actual markets in which there are baby ears trusted partners, because this really applies to, I'd say, 90% of our portfolio. And where there are some holes, they're working on securing trusted partners. So like I said, similar to Uber, I mean, anyone can be an Uber driver. But for baby ears, I mean, there certainly have to, you know, I think there are background checks, there's a whole training process involved, but it takes about, I think, 2 months or less for someone to become a trusted partner. So if you don't see your property or market listed on here, that's not to say that it won't be. And I know that there are some markets that they're still working on. Great. And then for our second brand partnership that I wanted to cover, I sent out a communication about this yesterday, but hopefully everyone is familiar with FabFitFun. They're a celebrated lifestyle brand. They have a really robust community following, but also I'm sure everyone on the phone has somehow or another seen their targeted Facebook ads. I've seen a million. But anyway, it's a subscription box of really great full-size products distributed on a quarterly basis, and typically the boxes are $49.99, but worth over $200 based on the products within. And we've been talking to them about these evergreen boxes that we can sell as part of guest experiences. So I mentioned in the note yesterday, but it could be part of a girlfriend getaway offer. It could be part of a bachelorette party package. And then to further that, our sales teams can use these boxes for various things, for, you know, for incentives, for trade show giveaways. There's just a number of ways that you can use these FabFitFun boxes, and we're hoping that enough properties are interested that we are able to secure discounted pricing on these boxes. And then once we buy into FabFitFun, then we get access to their incredible database, their social media following. We can host events at our properties. This is really just the beginning. So we're hoping that there is participation so we can take it to the next level. And all of those details can be found in the toolkit that I sent out yesterday. Any questions about FabFitFun?
Carrie, it's Katie again. I had a quick question. So if we buy into this, right, do they curate a box specifically for our property, or do all destination hotels get the same contents within the box?
All destination properties would get the same contents. We did initially explore curating our own box, but it would cost over $1 million. So sadly, we couldn't pursue that with our budget. Okay. But the evergreen box would be different. So for instance, if we have a guest or a bride that is a subscriber, this box would be different from what they received that season. So that's why they're called their evergreen boxes. And the shelf life, someone asked this yesterday, the shelf life is about 6 months. So if you want to place an order to use between, PR opportunities, so packages for girlfriend getaways and bridal parties, and then if your sales team wanted to order 10 or something, I mean, you can use them for about half a year.
Okay.
And then as far as placing the orders, so I attached that commitment form to my note yesterday. So there is some sense of urgency just for now for our first order, because we're hoping to negotiate some discounted pricing through our strategic sourcing team. But after that, if you've realized, if you played it safe and only ordered 5, but then realized that it's a really popular package, or your sales teams are going through them, or whatever it is, we'll be able to order likely on a quarterly basis, but if there's demand, our FabFitFun contact said that that's something we can work with their operations team on. Any other questions? Okay, great. I'm going to hand it over to Marie to talk about our marquee family program that we will be launching this year.
Slides for that?
No.
Oh. Unfortunately, we don't have the logo to share. So part of the research that we did for the destination brand, what we learned through mosaics and through Experian is that there's 80% of our guests have presence of children at home. And what we're trying to understand is those age categories. But what we noticed is primarily they're younger than 10 years of age. And that's due to our large resort portfolio, Sancadia, Terranea, Cliff House. We do know that we have a lot of urban products as well. So it's for us, catering to both resort as well as urban properties and putting together family programs is really important. We have Destination Discovery, which is an activity for single travelers, couples, families, but we wanted to really target children specifically. So we came up with Destination Discovery for kids. This is similar to, I believe, Scamania put together a really great Destination Discovery Junior program. Sancadia, sorry about that. It was Sancadia, Katie Shepard. Sancadia program that put together a Destination Discovery Junior program. We were toying with some names. One was Destination Footprints, but we were told it's not very intuitive in terms of targeting children. So what we'd like to do is launch with Destination Discovery Kids first, and then we're looking at a teen or preteen program thereafter. So we wanted to take a multi-tiered approach, starting with culinary, ensuring that we have healthy menus, kids programming, whether it's foraging on property, farming, picking your own vegetables, and cooking with the chef, to putting together, and we're working with Marcus Rapp, one of our chefs at our properties, putting together gluten-free menus, healthy menus, and recipes. So really we want it to be tailored by kids, for kids, as part of that culinarian program. Second is discovery. As you know, all of our hotels are authentically immersed. It's about service with a story, individually empowered. So how do we create programs that empower our kids? So we're looking at putting together a panel of kid experts. That's part of it. So it's not just curated by us as adults, but how do we get guests involved in putting together programming elements that we can roll out to all the properties. So putting together that umbrella strategy of creating destination discovery for kids, whether it's exploring the property or off-property programs. And the last is the partnership component that Carrie was mentioning with Baby Heirs, Honest & Company, and if there's any other partners that we can bring to the table that bring our family program to life. So we're creating immersive experiences on the web. So Alex and Carrie and Ashley, when she comes back from maternity leave, are putting together an entire kids section on the destination website. We're also putting together a social media component for preteens. So we're looking to create geo-filters for each property. So many of you on the phone are involved in that, and trying to create more Instagrammable moments on site, cocktails, mocktails, spa menus at each of your properties. So anything that we could, again, categorize by age groups, those that are under 10 years old, those that are preteen and older. How do we create a more family immersive experience that is more multi-generational? So moving forward, we'd like to position Destination as our 4 to 4.5, 5-star product that caters towards all travelers, but we do have a strong sense of targeting more of the family-oriented segment. Any questions on that? So for those of you on the phone, we'd love, I know many of you have children. It would be great. We have these destination brand teams that are obviously launching. Jamie made the announcement. We have Joie de Vivre brand teams, Thompson brand teams. You'll get a survey in the next couple of weeks. Actually, the brand teams will get a survey in the next couple of weeks, but we're looking for other experts in the field that we'd love to call for your feedback, your opinions, any partnership opportunities, programming that's happening at your properties that we could potentially pilot and test and roll out at other hotels. So we'll be reaching out to you in the next couple of weeks for your feedback, your input, and for your involvement.
As far as timing for our Destination Discovery Kids program, we're looking at hopefully announcing that later this summer, so probably July or August, and that'll be evergreen, and it's our marquee family program. So we can announce future partnerships, programs as part of that, and as Marie mentioned, we'll have that landing page as well that lives on the destination website. So our first priority is to announce our Baby Heirs partnership, and then we're hoping to pace it out as some of our programs are more crystallized. So that'll continue well into 2018.
Right, back to Sarah.
Great job. Very exciting partnerships. And I'm just envisioning a family that's walking through the airport carrying all the strollers and the car seats, and now they won't have to because of this partnership. So that's awesome. All right.
Thank you. We agree.
Can everyone see my screen? Hello,
Yes.
Can everyone see my screen? Okay. So we have Hotel Derek. Stephanie, if you want to take it from here.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, we actually have probably 10 different amenities that we consider experiential. I probably should have chosen, actually, I have 2 slides, don't I?
You do.
Okay, good. I was like, wow, why did I choose these? Okay, so these are sort of our more atypical amenities. You know, everybody tends to have something that accentuates the location, so we created a Texan thing. And this is just very iconic of our location. So we put an amenity together. It's presented really well. We utilize some mason jars, a wood plank board, and we serve local jerky, roasted Texas pecans, chilled Dr. Pepper, and then we make a flavored barbecue rub that we put over popcorn. So it's very inexpensive. It's easy to execute, and people really tend to like it. We often get this for corporate clients that are doing conferences and things here who have people traveling from other states or other countries. And then the birthday amenity, just the copy, we try to obviously distinguish the brand and everything that we do, and these amenities are no different. So these amenities live on our website, but we also have them in the form of a sort of a small, like a small brochure at the front desk, and we can email these electronically. So if the concierge or front desk identify someone celebrating a special occasion whilst they're here with us, then we can have them flip through and look through some of these amenities. But we take pride in sort of putting our brand voice into this. If you'll flip to the second slide. These are just a little more fun and playful. You know, we're an urban property, so a lot of times you might not think to, you know, go down to the pool area if you're here on business. So some of these amenities like the pool essentials is, again, just trying to promote the fact that there is both a work and play element to staying at Hotel Derrick. So the pool amenity includes sunscreen, summer-inspired cocktails, and then, you know, just some nice things to relax while you're out by the pool. So you can get a selection of magazines, and then we have some logoed pool towels that we will offer. And then the pillow fight, believe it or not, is actually one of the most popular amenities. We get this a lot on the weekends when we have couples that are staying and sort of doing a staycation. Hugely profitable amenity for us, because the only cost is the cookies and milk that we send up to the room after the pillow fight. We already have, obviously, pillows, and we purchased some oversized boxing gloves probably 2 years ago for $50 that we have just kept and reused as this amenity gets booked. But again, it kind of shows the hotel's personality. It's fun, and people really seem to enjoy them.
And Stephanie, how do you get people to book these? Where do you promote them?
They live on our website. So at the footer of Hotel Derrick's, all of its pages actually, we have this located there. So for instance, if you're looking on a page that is wedding centric or social catering centric, we'll put an offer up that we think sort of matches that. So there's a girls' night in, and there's one that's targeted more for guys that may be here on a bachelor party. We'll put the amenities at the bottom of that page within the website. If we have a summer promotion or some kind of offer that's geared more toward a weekend guest, then we would put the pool essentials on the footer of that page. And then we also have this available within our confirmation letters. So once someone makes a reservation and we're sending those confirmation details to them via email, there's a link where they can explore all of the amenities and order these in advance of their arrival with our concierge.
Very personalized. I like it. Does anyone have questions for Stephanie? Sorry, Stephanie, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that we've actually worked with our local PR firm here and pitched some of these in roundups and different things that are available through lifestyle publications or different websites that just speak to, you know, fun things to do in Houston. There's actually a local TV station called Great Day Houston who does a summertime pack your bag challenge. So we'll be on air with them next Friday morning, and we're going to be talking about some of these amenities that someone could arrange for themselves and sort of make a staycation in their own city.
Very cool. All right, so thank you, Stephanie. Our next one is Natalie Fournier at Christiania Bell.
Hi, everyone.
So in our room, can everyone hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, perfect. At the Christiania in our hotel component, we use in-room guest journals. So they're just little leather-bound notebooks with our logo on them that people can write in during their stay, whether it's about their experience, or we've had a few people write directly to our owner because she's a local, about thanking her for their time here. And then we have people draw pictures, so it's kind of fun. And I went through and scanned everything in so I could use it for blog posts and social media type things. So it's just a kind of a fun little thing we do.
Very creative. It definitely adds a personal home touch. I was telling Natalie, similar to like Airbnb, when you go to them, it has that local feel with the guest book, and this adds that to the room, and it's no longer a mystery about who was staying in the room before you. That person is, you know, a family or an individual, and they have a story too, and so it really makes the room personalized. Thank you. Any questions for Natalie? This is a quiet bunch today.
I actually have a question. This is Keela from the Embassy Row Hotel. So with the guest book, everyone who stayed in that room actually signs the book, or is it just something that they can take home with them?
No, so we have a note in there asking them to please leave it in the room, but they have the option to sign it if they want to. We had a few people use it just as like a scratch pad for like phone numbers and stuff, but for the most part, people do write in them.
That's cool. That's all I had.
Yeah.
Thank you, Natalie. Next up, we have Kathy with L'Auberge Del Mar.
Hi. So one of the things that we have found, one of our most popular restaurants here is called Coastline, and it overlooks the Pacific Ocean, which is absolutely beautiful. Sometimes we can have overcast days, but for the most part, we have very sunshiny days. We have guests either that are staying on the property or who come to visit just to eat at the Coastline restaurant who sometimes forget their sunglasses. So we keep a stack of sunglasses on hand. If somebody looks like they're squinting or they need a pair of sunglasses or they're trying to shade their eyes, we will provide them for use while they're here on property. And that seems to keep our visitors a little bit longer so they're not trying to run out because they're uncomfortable. It just makes them comfortable and allows us to anticipate our guests' needs as far as shading their eyes.
That's cute. Love it. Do they also have the option to purchase them if they want to keep them?
We now have a stock of sunglasses. These are just kind of throwaways and they walk away an awful lot, but we do now have a stock of sunglasses. If you see this picture, for those of you who haven't been on our property, one step down is our blue bar, which leads out to our pool. And right there at that bar, we keep a stock of a local company that makes sunglasses for purchase. So they can always have something on hand.
That is really a great idea. That's a great signature touch point for L'Auberge, where it's sunny 300 days of the year in San Diego. I love that idea.
Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right, so we're going to keep moving. We have Michelle at La Cantera.
Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, so if you can go to the next. Our partnership, I do quite a bit with Neiman Marcus. We have the Shops at La Cantera right across the street for those of you that have visited our property. It is our luxury shopping center within the city, and I have a great relationship with them, and we have developed a VIP, basically Neiman Marcus closet that we can put in a VIP's room. I'm working on how we get this get this built into a hotel package. That's taken me a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but we're almost there with Neiman Marcus wanting to obviously execute this on a more regular basis. If you see the picture there, that was actually done for a VIP group client that came in, the owners of CPK, and we actually were able to get her sizes and the type of brands that she wants. This is the third time we've done this for this client, and she's probably spent over averaging about $7,000 on every time we put this closet in her room. This was pretty extensive, this particular setup, but we've done it when we first launched it. I did it very small. We didn't have a lot of our sizes. We have a custom sign that we put on there. It talks about how if they take the piece, it basically just goes to their portfolio. So it's a pretty seamless process. You know, and basically though, I'm basically just, it's on loan to me, and we'll just see if the guests take it. Or we also allow them to go see the concierge at Neiman Marcus if they want to, you know, change out their size or anything like that. So we're really kind of trying to really build this into a hotel package where I then have a little bit more of the customer's information ahead of time. We have this already sitting in their room as they arrive, and then also give them a shopping experience, you know, later in the afternoon or later on during their stay. So that was our first setup. Now on the second slide. So I really chose a lot of just shoes, a lot of handbags. This one was, again, I didn't have her sizes particularly. We were trying to guess. But she is now a Neiman Marcus customer, so they have her in their system. So that was easier the next time around to get her a pretty extensive setup in her room that they actually removed the beds for to make just her closet into. So, that was quite unique, but looking to kind of downsize this a little bit more. And then also, this is where I wanted our pictures of our destination suitcase are all from Neiman Marcus. So I really wanted to kind of try to integrate that suitcase, destination suitcase messaging with the Neiman Marcus package and all that kind of cohesive branding with Neiman's.
This is so great. That's so great. Sorry. You heard. These are fantastic ideas. Love it.
So the other one I'm working on is with Lulu, kind of the same concept, but then kind of more spa focused. Since we have our fabulous Loma de Vida spa, we want to be a little bit more spa focused in yoga. So trying to work on something else with Lululemon as well. You're on mute. Now they have a closet at Rocket Terrace. I didn't hear what someone was saying.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Oh, that's okay.
I was just saying that it was a great partnership with Neiman Marcus, and love that you've personalized this for this guest. I mean, true experience for them.
I love partnership.
Any other questions for Michelle?
So do people, this is Keela again, do people actually buy these clothes, or like how does this?
Yes, so this guest actually, like I said, the first time around, she ended up taking like 2 bags, a Valentino bag and a Chanel bag. And we have her credit card on her room, so she just charged it to her room.
So do you guys get a portion of those sales?
No, we haven't gotten there yet, but.
Okay. So Neiman Marcus, wow, that's a good idea.
But she just, then Neiman Marcus, you know, obviously provided a gift for the guest, and then also gives them incentive to go see them at the store.
Exactly. Yeah. Cool.
Great. We're going to move to our last speaker for the afternoon, and that is Jeff. I won't begin to pronounce your last name, representing the Thompson brand.
Thanks, Sarah. This is Jeff Tomczyk. I am Director of Branding, working very specifically on the Thompson brand, and I compiled some on-property moments and in-room touch points from a few of the properties that I'll share with you now. So if you want to scroll to the next slide. So Thompson Nashville has been very active in activating some unique touch points in room. This is a partnership with Imogene and Willie, which is a denim manufacturer local to Nashville. They do these really incredible custom jeans. And so Lisa Bush on the property team has arranged this in-room moment where there's a pair of jeans actually, sitting in room, and you can feel the quality and the materiality of them, and then a follow-up piece of collateral that instructs you to be able to actually have a styling session and work with a stylist to have jeans custom fitted to your personal style and preference. And so this can either be arranged as a package pre-stay, or there's obviously messaging to let people know that it exists for those who are already staying with us. But if you book the package, they're charging a $250 add-on, and they need about 3 days in advance to be able to get your custom jeans created and ready so that when you check in, they're actually waiting for you in your room. So just a cool way to bring a local denim manufacturer in and give people that unique moment. Any questions on this one?
Jeans are hard to come by. Good jeans are hard to come by for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And in Nashville, the right pair of jeans and the right pair of boots go a long way. So, so Nashville, another in-room touch point. This is at every minibar. The property partnered with Withco, and they are doing custom drink recipes. So all of your ingredients are in-room at the minibar, and your instructions are available to you with your bar kit, so you can stir and shake and do everything you need to do to get these cocktails ready for consumption. And the pricing is obviously right on the piece of collateral. So if you're going to use all of the ingredients, you're being charged $12 to your room bill. And they rotate these and keep these fresh and seasonal as well. So simple in-room touch points for the minibar. These two examples are Thompson, Toronto. So just a piece of collateral promoting their 24-hour room service through their diner. And then these two pieces of kind of extended minibar items are, more about your day-to-day needs. So partnership with Harry's to bring shave sets. I believe that shave set is $15 to purchase. A pre-charged phone charger. So just extending minibar into some of these other extra amenities that people might want to purchase during their stay. One of the topics that came up in speaking with the properties about their in-room moments was just how Thompson does differentiate from a lot of the other collections, in that one of the pillars for the brand is the residential feel. And so we actually don't do a ton of in-room collateral or in-room messaging as to not appear as promotional as a traditional hotel room. So that in-room kind of room service piece is a bit of an exception to the rule with Thompson, but for the most part, they're pretty clean of promotional items. And if we're going to do any kind of extra experiential moments, we usually try to look at it from a more collaborative approach with something like a Harry's kit. We've also done in Thompson Suites master and dynamic headphones for use during your stay that are then available for purchase. Partnerships with Kind Bar to have snacks resting next to your nightstand, which are complimentary. But it's really about enhancing through collaboration and not necessarily always through more traditional messaging touch points. We're going to go to the next slide. This is one exception to that. Seattle found that the weather forecast was so important to their guests, and they were constantly getting questions about what's the weather going to be like during their guest stay. And so they were using a more traditional in-room forecast piece of collateral on the bedspread during turn down service. And they decided to actually leverage that piece to ask their guests to share their experience and their TripAdvisor story. And so it was just a way to repurpose a traditional piece of in-room to try to activate their guests around posting more TripAdvisor reviews. And then this last piece is just related to how at the brand level we're trying to activate more of these special moments across the property. And so we're launching a program called Uncovered. Some of you know that we've merchandised this kind of in a teaser campaign for our Thompson Summer brand level campaign. And each of the 9 Thompson hotels are offering a different experience that can be redeemed for a $50 credit. But they're all about these kind of in the know, local neighborhood or collaborative moments that really speak to our insiders' approach of what our Thompson guest is looking for during their stay. And we're exploring this little piece of kind of napkin-looking collateral with the lip marks on it is an early creative concept for how we merchandise that program in room and tease to our guests to ask our concierge about more of these uncovered moments. And that's where this guest will have more of a personal interaction with our Thompson staff to learn more about what that particular property is doing from an experiential component without us necessarily having to heavily merchandise or message that in room. And then it creates more of that personal residential interaction. So that's kind of everything I have here. There's some other exploration going on with the teams for a similar kind of program to that Neiman Marcus concept that was shown earlier, in which we are looking to do a designer partnership at each Thompson and have kind of a Thompson closet experience where you can shop from your closet in the Thompson suite at every Thompson property. And so that's another idea that's kind of coming down the pike here and shows just the creative ways in which our teams are coming up with these ideas. So that's all for me.
I love this, Jeff. Thank you for really showcasing how Thompson is personalizing and making it more residential at your properties.
Of course.
Does anybody have questions for Jeff? All right, super quiet today. So any quotes, questions, answers for the team in general, things on your mind?
I'm actually just curious, are there members of the Thompson teams joining these calls? Because I seem to hear a lot of, obviously, destination engagement. But I'm curious as to what the cross-section of representation by the properties is.
Well, I would say looking at the attendee list here, it does seem like a lot of familiar destination names, but I'm sure if anyone here is not, if they're from Joie de Vivre or Thompson, please speak up.
Hi, this is Zachary from Thompson Playa del Carmen.
Hey,
right.
Zachary, glad you're very cool. Thanks for being on.
Absolutely.
It might be just a good refresher or reminder to the JDV and Thompson teams then to just, extract some of the value out of these calls, because the ones I've joined seem really helpful, and I think maybe we just encourage some of those team members to make sure they're joining as well.
Certainly. Yeah, we would love for all brands to join. It is a Two Roads Marketing Affinity call, so. All right, well, I appreciate all the speakers today. It was so important to see that it's not just the collateral and compendium that goes in the room, but really the experiences that we're creating for our guests and how are we making memories for them, really personalizing their stay and thinking beyond, the paper and engaging with them. So thank you all. Very well done.
Thank you,
And
Sarah.
our next Marketing Affinity call is on July 6th. And Molly, if you can remind me the subject for that call.
Yeah, so that one is food and beverage marketing. Should be a great call. We'll have Landy Labadie, and sorry, Landy, if I'm mispronouncing your name. Myself and Ivy Parker will present the food and beverage toolkit, and then we'll have Christina from the Woodmark presenting a little bit more extensively on how they did a small budget rebrand of their in-house restaurant.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, I hope everyone has a great day and great weekend.
Great call. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.